Welcome back. It's an exciting day because it's time to get you geared up in Shadowlands. Today's video is going to explain how gearing works on the launch of this expansion. Now, fresh level 60 characters will be around item level, maybe 140, depending on what content they've done. So that means that your goal will then be to get the best gear that you can get before the raids open, which is the 8th of December, which is the beginning of week 3 of Shadowlands. Now, of course, if you're not a big raider or Mythic Pluser, don't worry. If you're a casual player, then actually you're going to have a little bit different goals, but don't worry because this video is going to have you and your gearing covered as well. Now, speaking of gear, check out these awesome keyboards. These are really cool, and they're from our sponsor, drop.com. And they're going to give you $40 off custom keycaps if you buy a board with them. And speaking of boards, I mean, man, okay, time for something special. So this is the Drop Enter with Halo Trues, and this is the Drop Alt with Cherry Blues. Also, I use the larger drop control, it's the bigger brother of this one, with Cherry MX Browns at my house. This is such an epic line of keyboards. It's insane. The Alt and the Control are the more high-end ones, and man, these are the best built keyboards I have ever used. I mean, God, they feel so good. Staggeringly solid typing platform, and yeah, real sexy RGB. Even things like hot swappable keycaps if you really want to get into it. The Alt and the Control are a keyboard nerd's dream. The Enter, then, is a line that comes in at $90. The lower end of the pricing for like the real quality mechanical keyboards, and I mean, this does not feel like an entry-level board. The heft, this backplate, the actual key strike I get with these Halo Trues, it feels like a dream. This is the first keyboard I've ever got above 100 words per minute on. It's the one that actually half of our Shadowlands launch videos have been written on, and it's my daily driver at the office. So, if you want to check him out, I mean, hey, hit up the review of the Enter from Dimitri of Hardware Canucks. It's a big fave of his too. Epic range of boards. You will get $40 off a set of custom keycaps if you buy a board at my link down below. Thanks to Drop for sponsoring us, making these boards, the ones I write this channel on. And with that said, let's go and let's get geared up for Shadowlands. Let's kick it off with Covenant gearing, and this is something that really did slip under the radar, but it will be great for many players, and it's something you'll need to understand. So, in addition to your Covenant's Quartermaster, you are also going to find an Armorer and a Gear Enhancer. And the way this works is pretty simple. The Armorer will sell you gear in exchange for Anima. Anima is, of course, the resource you get from doing lots of things like, say, world content and Covenant callings in Shadowlands. So it's used to purchase this gear from the Armorer, but also to upgrade this gear from the Upgrader character. Now, this Covenant gear has got 7 ranks, and it is unlocked based on how much of your Covenant's max level campaign you have done on your character. Now, after you have done 7 of your Covenant campaign questlines, you will have unlocked the full set of Covenant gear, and it's even got a set bonus on it, which is pretty neat. Now, this is all gated by renown. Okay, and the way that works is you get 2 renown levels per week by doing your Covenant's 2 weekly quests, and those are quite simple. Then, though, each Covenant campaign quest will award you with another renown level. So on week 1, you will be able to do 2 weeklies and a Covenant campaign quest. That will take you from renown level 1 to renown level 4. This will, of course, unlock the gloves at rank 1, eye level 155. Then in week 2, you will get access to your Covenant cloak and legs, also at rank 1, item level 155. Then after week 3's renown gains, you'll get access to the wrist at rank 2, item level 164. Now at this point, you will have unlocked rank 2 across the board, and you'll be able to take your other Covenant gear to that upgrade vendor and of course upgrade it. Then moving on to week 4, well, you actually will be able to do your 2 weeklies, and then you'll actually be able to do 2 of the Covenant campaign quests, and that actually means that you'll get 4 renown levels in that week, and this will unlock your shoulders and your waist at rank 3, item level 171, and your helm at rank 4, item level 177. So you'll then be able to, of course, work on upgrading all of that Covenant gear up to eye level 177, which is just under a Mythic Dungeon in terms of eye level. Oddly, week 5 has got no Covenant campaign unlock, so no new gear or rank there, so maybe Blizzard's intent is that in that week you're just spending that upgrading the Covenant gear you've already got. But then, of course, week 6 will see you hit Renown level 19, and that's when you can do chapter 6, and that will unlock the boots at rank 5, item level 181. Then, on week 7, you will be able to do the final 2 chapters of the Covenant campaign, and doing both of these will allow you to, first, purchase the chest piece at rank 6, item level 190, and also unlock a pretty great looking set of basically weapon transmogs. That's quite nice. And presumably rank 7, which is likely going to be somewhere in the mid-190s in terms of item level. So as you can see, those do take quite some time to unlock, but item level 190 plus, that's quite nice. I mean, by week 4, you'll have guaranteed better than heroic dungeon loot for those slots. By week 6, that will be, mythic dungeon tier loot. And by week 7, you'll be able to upgrade that set to be low to mid tier mythic plus end of run loot, which is pretty nice. Now, this won't be super relevant to raiders on launch, but this will be great for casual players to get gear, and also great for catch-up. You see, all the renown values I've talked about here are based on you just doing everything you can every week from launch, right? So the way that it works, if you say make a character 5 weeks into the expansion, is you can quickly catch up to the curve with renown by continually doing content. So that essentially means if you make an alt character 10 weeks into Shadowlands, you'll be able to race through the renown levels super fast, do basically all of your Covenant campaigns super fast, and you'll be able to unlock that Covenant gear super fast, which actually does make this pretty damn good catch-up gear almost from, literally from the first, update, the first release of the expansion. Okay, next up, Mythic Dungeons. So Mythic Plus Dungeons are of course available with the launch of Season 1 of Shadowlands, and that means they are out of the scope of this video, so that's that gone. That said, normal dungeons do drop item level 156, heroics drop item level 171, and mythics drop item level 183. So, what does this mean? You'll want to do, of course, every mythic dungeon in the game for its weekly lockout. So that's 8 dungeons per week, and hopefully you get those 183s. Past that, you can just grind out the random heroic dungeon queue to try to get a bunch of item level 171s. But that said, there may be a more surefire way of getting those 171s, so listen on. Next, it's time to do PvP gear, which is quite different and I think will be quite relevant to everyone at the lower levels. So, there is a PvP vendor that sells gear for Honor. Now, to get a handle on how this currently works, well, your first win of the day for regular BGs, epic BGs, and the active, the skirmish and the active brawl, those are 300, 450, 160, and 300 respectively. So that's a big old chunk of Honor. How far does that Honor get you though? Well, a rank 1, item level 158 shoulder piece costs 700 Honor. Upgrading that to item level 164 costs a further 400, and bringing that to eye level 171, which is a heroic dungeon, costs 500 Honor. So as you can see, this is actually a really pretty damn good way of initially getting a few of your gear slots covered. Now there are in total 7 upgrade ranks, and those max out at item level 190. However, they are, like a few things are, throttled by your character's renown with your Covenant. You are initially capped to upgrade rank 3, item level 171. You can get to rank 5 though once you unlock Renown level 7 with your Covenant, and you'll be able to do that in week 2 of this expansion. As for rank 7, that's unlocked at Renown level 22, which is week 7 of Shadowlands. So, look, I'll say this. In Shadowlands, we get less gear, but the gear that we do get does actually matter quite a bit more, because there's no Titan Forge or anything like that. And this means that this PvP gear will really help you fill in slots. As an example, if you're just not getting weapon drops, in week 1 of this expansion, right, you can get an item level 171 one-handed weapon. In total, that would cost you 2,000 Honor, which is really quite attainable. So yes, this is a very handy way to fill in slots in your character, and of course if you're a PvPer, get ready for your Gladiator gear to be attainable at the start of Season 1. Crafting, unfortunately, is not a great source of gear in Shadowlands, at least at the launch. Crafters can make a item level 151 set, and of course they can then augment that with crafters marks, and these are basically just items that are used while crafting an item to modify that craft's item level. Now, there are 3 levels of these marks: Novice, Rank 1, and Rank 2. But the rub is that Rank 2 is the only one that matters for endgame, and it only increases the item level of that crafted gear to 168. That's just below heroic dungeons. Really, it's not that great. It is an okay short-term stepping stone, right? If you want to replace a bunch of pretty rubbish, junky questing gear, you could get a whole bunch of this, but overall, it's not really gear that's going to last you. It will be stuff you'll be replacing pretty quick. I will take this opportunity just to say that it's kind of unfortunate there's not like a rank 3 crafter's mark that you can use here. I think that would be a good addition, maybe to make it a bit more expensive and all that, but it certainly does feel like this element of professions is just a bit left out. World content is simple enough here, where basically the world quest rewards, they've got the usual way of working, but there is a new aspect to things, where essentially you get upgrades based on renown to the world quest item levels. Sounds a bit weird, but basically, you get world quest item level increases at renown level 10, 19, and 29, which corresponds to weeks 3, 6, and 10 of the expansion if you're, just going ham from the very start. So basically here, the only thing to say is keep an eye on your world map for decent bits of gear and, go pick them up, and obviously be sure to cap your renown every week. It basically is as simple as that. And of course, doubly watch out for any dungeon world quests, because they will give you some, there'll be a higher item level than the other world quests. Okay, time for legendaries. So they come in 2 parts. You've got the base item that's made by a crafter, and then the legendary effect, which you put onto that bit of sort of blank legendary gear when you're fully making it at the rune carver, who is located in Torghast. So basically, you buy a base legendary item with your desired item level from the auction house, or maybe you craft it or you get a friend to make it for you. It might, though, take a while for crafters to unlock the higher item level base legendary items, and one of the reasons there is because they're actually quite expensive for the crafters to make. So you'll do that, then you'll need some stat missives. These are got from scribes, and they assign the stats to your bit of legendary gear. And then you'll need soul ash, which is the currency you get from completing Torghast's non-twisting corridors mode, like just the main sort of Torghast mode. You'll do that every single week. Now, your weekly soul ash gains basically max out at 1200 soul ash per week. And that soul ash is what's actually used at the very end to craft legendaries at the rune carver. So the higher item level the legendary is, the more soul ash you're going to need. The item level 190 legendaries, which are the fastest to get, cost 1250 soul ash. Then the I-level 210s cost 2,000 soul ash, the 225s cost 3,200 soul ash, and the 235 legendaries, it's a very high item level, they cost 5,150 soul ash. Now, a key thing to know here is that you are safe to craft your desired legendary at item level 190, because you can actually take your legendaries back and then upgrade them later on for soul ash. Now, doing this results in you wasting a little bit of just crafted material expenses, but you do not waste any soul ash, so it basically is a safe thing to do. This soul ash is got for completing the 2 wings of Torghast weekly. Now, those rewards depend on the difficulty that you do. Each wing has got 8 different layers. The layers are difficulties. Now, the way this works is that the initial weekly soul ash is actually limited, because you can only do up to layer 3 of Torghast when Shadowlands comes out, with up to layer 6 unlocking along with season 1, and then up to layer 8 being unlocked when Mythic Castle Nathria actually unlocks. So overall, what this actually means is if you do all your Torghast content, it's going to take you 2 weeks to get enough soul ash for a rank 1 legendary from the start of the expansion. Now, that said, I should note it's probably still going to take you some time to unlock the powers that you want. Of course, check the adventure journal for sources there, and, well, to actually get the base items from crafters, because those base items are really quite expensive in terms of the required materials. Of course, then also do check out the channel for a full guide to the legendary system. It goes into a lot more depth, but for now, this is what you need for the initial gearing. Then finally, Reps. So the World Quest rep vendors are simple enough. They've each got a single bit of gear for your armor type at item level 161 for Honored, item level 181 for Revered, and item level 200 for Exalted. Now, rep for these will of course take a little while because it's primarily by doing the World Quests, but these could help you to fill out some slots, so they're worth keeping in mind. But I think for the Bleeding Edge players, they probably won't be that relevant. Okay, let's talk about the plan. So, now that you know how things work in this video, the plan is honestly simple, right? Get your Renown every week. Get your Soul Ash every week. And then, what you want to do, right, is you want to use up all of your sources of limited RNG-based gear. As an example, do all 8 of your weekly mythic dungeons, because that way you'll know, of course, what loot you will have gotten from those dungeons. And then once that is done, look at your character, think, oh, what holes do I have in my gear right now? And then you could maybe spend currency, such as honor, to fill in any unlucky slots. And if you just follow those principles, and listen to what's in this video, by week 3, you are going to have a gear set that is a mix of 183s from Mythic Dungeons, and then 171s from upgrading your Honor gear. Of course, those 171s, once week 3 ticks over, you are then able to upgrade to rank 5, so you could get some more item levels that way. And then, mix in some Heroic Dungeon gear, of course, as well. Depending on how much you farm those reps, you may be able to use a few of their pieces, and then of course you'll just be slowly working your way through the Covenant gear as well. Basically, Blizzard's design here is clear as day. They want the lower end of gearing to have multiple parallel paths. Well, I mean, all gearing does, but especially with these upgrade systems and currencies, yeah, it's multiple parallel paths. And that means that if you are doing many different types of content, you will be going down each one of those paths simultaneously, and you'll get a whole bunch more gear. But anyway, look, follow this guide, you will get, you'll hit Season 1, and you'll get there with a legendary and a real decent set of starter gear. Because after this video, you now understand how gearing works in Shadowlands. So, go out there, have some fun, and if you want some gear IRL from our friends at Drop who sponsored this video, bam, you can get this loot and some really kick-ass keycaps for it too. So that's it for me, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.